Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting, amazing, and spectacular episode of Talking Time with Charlie, according to a concert pianist, where I get to ramble about all kinds of things, primarily relating to piano and music related stuff. So today I wanted to talk about a question that I get often when I travel. And sometimes it might be like a teacher or someone who asks, for advice that I might give to a younger student of music, piano or otherwise. And they say, Charlie, what would you say to a younger student? Like, what advice do you have for younger students? And I probably have a ton of advice, and some of it might be good, and most of it might be bad. But I thought I'd talk about one thing that I think is a very important thing. But before I tell you what that is, before we get there, before you need to know, or before you get to know, or whatever, what I think one of the most important pieces of advice for younger musicians is, I want you to do me a favor and smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment below. And if you're not seeing this on YouTube, it might be on some other platform or something, go to youtube.com/Charlie Albright Pianist. That's youtube.com/Charlie Albright Pianist. And hit the subscribe button, like button, and comment there too, because it helps the algorithm. And we all know that the algorithm, let me put down my coffee here, the algorithm is this amazing, mysterious thing that no one really knows how it works. No one really knows how to make it like you. But if it does like you, then your videos go out to more people, and that's good. So do me a favor and do that for the algorithm. All right, so let me get my coffee again because it's very important that I keep caffeinated here. All right, so what is one piece of advice? And I don't know if this is the most important piece of advice I would give. I don't know if it is, but it's probably up there. This is an important piece of advice, I think, and that I have for younger musicians. I think that younger musicians, and everyone, even if you're older, this applies to that too. I think musicians in general, I think it's very important for them to try to keep music fun. Keep music fun. I think that is incredibly important, and I think it goes a little bit. It might rock the boat a little bit. There might be some people like, well, music and art isn't necessarily supposed to be fun. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that the Moonlight Sonata is first, very, very solemn and, I don't know if this is necessarily fun, right? It's not really a fun song. It's deep and introverted and tragic and desperate and all those kinds of things. That's not what I mean by fun necessarily. Let me take that back. I'm not saying that every song should be like whoopee fun, right? You're not jumping up and down and doing a dance for every classical music piece. That's not what I mean by fun. I think that overall, though, music should be something that you enjoy and that you have a good time doing. That might be a better way of saying fun. Yeah, there are going to be fun pieces, right? Like you're really exciting and whatever. But I don't think people would describe like the Moonlight Sonata's first movement to be fun. But it should still be enjoyable because music allows you to communicate and express emotions and all kinds of stuff. But back to the main point. I think that people should try to keep music fun. And I think it's easy for that to be lost. So let me explain. So for the musicians out there, you're going to know what I'm talking about. For non-musicians, you can probably empathize. A lot goes into being a musician. And I think especially a classical musician. I think if professional classical musicians and even, classical musician students in like colleges and conservatories and whatever, I think if you were to add up all the hours, all the time spent in competitions, in piano lessons, in practicing on your own, on learning music, on all that, if you were to add it up, and like divide by the amount of, like, if you take the amount of money you make and divide by the number of hours, probably everyone would be making pennies an hour or less. Like, it is not something that you make a lot of money per hour doing because it requires so much work, right? It's all the hours and hours and countless, they say countless hours and it's become cliche to say that, but it's true. And it's not that you necessarily practice 10 hours a day. I don't, and maybe I'll make a video about that. But there is a lot of practicing, and it goes back for decades. Many people who make music their living have been playing since they were. It's not unusual to hear people starting when they were 3 or 4. I started when I was 3.5. If you start, if in classical music at least, if you start playing after the age of 7 or 8, that's kind of old. This is something that most of these people have been doing their entire lives. And, there's tons of tears, there's joys, but there's tons of tears too. Is practicing the piano fun? For me, most of the time, no. And probably that's the case for most people. I don't think I know very many people who would be like, oh boy, I get to go practice this morning as soon as they wake up. Yeah, that doesn't usually happen. I'm not saying it's not always enjoyable. Sometimes it is. But there's also some times where practicing is like the last thing you want to be doing. But it's kind of a thing you have to just kind of do if you want to, be a musician professionally at least. And you have to practice, to keep it up. And a lot of the practice and development, I think, actually comes at a young age, right? Like if you go to any conservatory, the people they accept, most of them are already pretty unbelievable musicians, right? Even freshmen at Juilliard or New England Conservatory or wherever, they're unbelievable musicians, and they haven't even started there. So they were unbelievable musicians before they got to those schools. And that requires, a lot of things, but one of those things is a lot of work. And when you're working so much and practicing so much, it's easy for something to go from being fun to being not fun, right? It can become something that you dread and, maybe even hate, and if you lose that joy, I think it can come out in your playing. And I think people can intuitively know that you aren't enjoying it. And I think that that's very sad because you can be an amazing musician, but if you lose that fun, if you lose that joy when you're playing, it can really, I think, hamper how you can connect with people through your music, and it can hamper your music. Not to mention, if you start hating, if you start hating the music and start hating the process and stuff like that, that's probably a good recipe for quitting and just giving up. So I think all those things kind of play into my recommendation that students and musicians and people who are playing music should try to keep that joy and that fun as much as they can and for as long as they can, and hopefully for their entire lifetime of playing music, for as long as you play music, that is. How do you do that is the next question, right? And this answer is probably going to be different for all kinds of people, and for a lot of people, everyone might have a different response to how to keep it fun. For me, I think another piece of advice that might go kind of hand in hand or very similar is to not take yourself too seriously in the music. I think, people say you should respect the music. That's probably very important. I'm not saying to just blow off everything and don't think anything is deep or serious or anything like that. But don't take yourself too seriously. And this probably applies to a lot of people. I mean, you want to be professional in everything that you do, right? Whether you're working in an office or you're, a musician or a pianist or whatever. But if you take yourself too seriously, that can probably, make you a little uptight and make you maybe a little too sensitive to criticism. And I've talked a lot about criticism in another Talking Time video. So I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I think one of the most important things is for people to keep it fun, for musicians to keep music fun. For me, some of that involves not practicing 10 hours a day. If I practiced 10 hours a day, I don't think I would have fun at music. It would become something that I maybe dread more, right? For other people, 10 hours a day might be great, and maybe they love it, and good for them. Another thing is I love playing all kinds of music. I love classical music. People ask me, what do I listen to in the car? Not classical music, unless it's something I need to learn, and especially if it's something I need to learn really, really fast, I have to kind of drill it into my head. But I listen to like K-pop and stuff. I love playing jazz. I love playing Great Balls of Fire. I sometimes just jam out with like boogie woogie pop songs, you know, Titanic. I mean, I love all kinds of music, and I love playing all kinds of music, and that keeps it fun. And it's something that, you know, music is something that when I started piano, a lot of you'll know I started when I was about 3.5, till I was about 7 or 8, I couldn't read a note of music, and I only played by ear. And you know, I went to, one of my teachers was, unofficial teachers, was this lady named Joanne at Yardbirds in Centralia and Chehalis, where I grew up. Kind of right in between. Maybe it was technically Chehalis. Anyway, she owned this piano and organ store, and we would go and she'd teach me things by ear, like oldie songs, you know, like Great Balls of Fire or In the Mood or whatever. And she'd play on the organ, and I'd play on the piano. And in the middle, we'd switch as the accompaniment on the organ was still going, and then I'd be playing on the organ, and she'd be playing on the piano. Like, that was fun, and that kind of, I'm not saying I get to do that kind of thing all the time, but I think it's really, that was fun. And I think trying to keep that joy and that excitement and that fun of music is important. Because, you know, I think ultimately music is supposed to be enjoyed. It's a kind of entertainment. And I know people, I can hear the people already. Oh no, it's not entertainment, it's an art, it's sacred, it's whatever. Arts and entertainment is a thing kind of for a reason, you know. People, I'm not saying that it's all ha-ha entertainment, but, you know, just as all movies aren't comedies, there's some very deep movies, but that's still a type of, you know, art and entertainment. I think classical music and all kinds of music fall into that as well. It's a type of entertainment. And so again, it's not all ha-ha funny, but I think that in general you should keep that excitement, that joy, and that fun in your music and in your playing. And I think that helps with longevity, with, you know, not giving up or giving up, or it helps with not giving up, that is, excuse me. And it also helps, I think, your playing be better than it otherwise would if you didn't like it. Anyway, I think that's enough rambling. I've already been rambling for 12 minutes on one thing about the thing of keeping music fun. So do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I don't know if I'll get to all the comments, but please leave them. I'll try to see as many as I can at least. And let me know what you think. And then also go to youtube.com/Charlie Albright Pianist if you haven't already, and do the same subscribe, like, and comment thing there for that magical algorithm. All right, anyway, you guys all stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.